Good evening. We come to you on November 4th. Bitcoin is trading at 100K. It will break 99K as we speak, here and there, probably. And Golfwinch, how you doing?
Doing well. It actually went all the way down to 98 just a little bit ago.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not surprised.
I mean, 98 and change, not actually.
Yeah, yeah, it bounced off 98, huh?
Yeah,
Hey,
I like that little live ticker. That's kind of cool.
anyone buying at 98K will be very happy, I believe, in the next few years.
Yeah, I get I mean I keep all of my money in Bitcoin. Not that I have a lot, but
You're on the Bitcoin standard.
yeah, it still makes me happy when it goes down because I get my paycheck on Thursday and I get a
Yeah,
little bit more bang for my buck, but I guess it
sure.
doesn't really make sense. Um, I'm kind of always rooting for it to be more valuable in everyone's minds because it builds my purchasing power. But you can't have it go good all the time.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna fluctuate.
I had a
Yeah.
I had a stock I wanted to tell you about. I came across not too long ago.
All right, let's do it.
You ever hear of Clean Spark?
Nope.
CLSK, I think is the ticker.
NASDAQ, gotcha. Data
So
processing.
yeah, so check this out. This was a Bitcoin mining company.
Hmm.
I just heard about this last week, and they're pivoting to AI.
You
Uh,
mean their energy is going to
yeah,
be
energy company that was mining Bitcoin. Now they're pivoting to AI, so they're going to do AI and Bitcoin, and they have a head start of all these, AI. Uh, they're basically an energy company, so they have a head start on getting this energy. And as you know, or I don't know if you know, but Bitcoin, you can kind of shut off the power and stop mining when the electricity is needed elsewhere.
sure. Yeah. I saw this come across my news feed. I don't know if it was Clean Spark, but it might have been a different Bitcoin miner that struck a deal with a AI company for energy. But yeah, George does a lot of research on this actually on the Investing or Gambling podcast. And I think that's a pretty much a common theme that these data centers that are or not these data centers, these miners have access to low energy costs, so it would be natural for these AI companies to strike deals with them, right?
Yeah, and AI, they can't shut these companies, or they have to be on all the time. So they need
Okay.
99.999 uptime. So it
Hmm.
dovetails nicely with the Bitcoin mining, in my opinion.
Hmm.
I just think it's one to keep an eye on. I don't own any, and I haven't, put a
Yeah,
put a stake in the ground or anything. But I did
sure.
notice my wife owns Lilly and Costco, and those are up today. Eli
Yeah,
Lilly is just broke out above 900, and Costco, you know, didn't go up a bunch. It's just kind of just sits
yeah,
really. A couple of boring ones, but
yeah. We have the
they're
VIX
nice
up
to own
today.
when the market gets
Yeah,
crushed.
it looked like, and Berkshire was up today. It's kind of like a flight to safety type of day, risk off, right?
Yeah,
And yeah, I see the VIX jumped nicely today. Um, Ethereum's showing it's green today. That's interesting.
Ethereum's getting murdered right now.
So this must be wrong.
Yeah, go to CoinGecko.
What's that?
Definitely wrong. Maybe that was an hourly chart, or I don't
Yeah.
know. CoinGecko is how you track all the trash coins.
Ethereum is down 10.3% in the last 24 hours, but it must be up this hour. Yeah, let's get
Yeah,
out of here.
it was above 4,000 not too long ago. It's
Let's
at
go.
3,200. XRP has just been murdered
Yeah,
to
all the
the
shit coins
team.
get beat up during this time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, everything just follows Bitcoin, doesn't it? These
yeah.
shit
Stay away
coins.
from the trash coin. That's
Wingstop had a wonderful day today. One of my holdings,
oh, you got
embarrassingly.
Wingstop?
I'm a Wingstop shareholder.
What's their business model? Is that like kind of like Chipotle?
Franchisee. No, it's franchisee. So
Oh,
they make like a fee off of the franchisee owner. It's completely different setup than like a Chipotle. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, insurance companies are up. They've been getting beat up, I think for good reason here, but they had a bounce. Waste management is again above 200 a share. Let's see. Wow, look at Chipotle after their
Yeah,
earnings report. That's crazy.
I know.
I mean, it's still expensive if you're looking at like basic ratios here. Um, let's see what else we have. The only
Ratios
reason
are uh,
what
price to
multiples.
earnings ratios are so out of whack these days. Like it's hard to even look at them. Like you
Yeah,
look up Nvidia and you look up Amazon and you look these price to earnings ratios don't even make any sense anymore.
yeah, because you have to look at the forward multiple on a lot of these tech names, and something like Chipotle had always a high PE. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why because it was considered a growth company. Let's see what got murdered today. Obviously, Strategy got murdered. My DraftKings, which I don't barely own anymore. I sold most of my position. Robinhood, Palantir sold off. Caterpillar has been on a tear. It's one of my large top holdings. The SMH probably came down too, of course. And what's a big one of I think it's almost like a top 10 holding of mine now. It came out of nowhere was Lam Research. I've had this for
Oh, okay. They
I've
make
owned this.
chip makers.
Yeah, I've had these guys for a long time. But they're very exposed to China, so that's why they've been down a lot. But anyway, um, but yeah, so what else is going on?
Yeah, Bitcoin's been on a spiral downward
Yeah.
since I want to say the weekend or Friday. I don't even know, but it's been down, down, down since well, I think it was they had that real down day. I forgot what happened. But really the news is kind of, you don't really know. All I can
Ye-
say is there's more people selling than buying.
Yeah, so I wanted to pull this up. Bill, sorry, I went to the dentist, so half my face is numb right now.
Oh, good.
Bitcoin Magazine. I wanted to like pull this up. Um, these are the headlines as of November 4th. Everything here is bearish. I'm kind of using it as like an example of
So,
sentiment.
so do you know who was behind Bitcoin Magazine?
No,
So you know who Vitalik Buterin is?
yes,
So he is part of the uh, founder of the feast. David Bailey is the head of it. They're the ones who put on that conference that
yeah,
Trump went to and everything.
sure, yeah, yeah.
So I went to that conference
In
and
Miami.
a lot of trash coining going on. And
Ah,
yeah, so they made this promise a little bit after that, saying they were only going to do Bitcoin. Never
yeah,
followed through.
really?
Just caveating everything you look at that they're not a Bitcoin only company, and they don't have in my opinion, Bitcoin's best interest. They're all about making fiat money. They're not
Yeah,
about
they're about
movement.
selling ads. That's interesting because I have Simply Bitcoin, I thought, is affiliated with them. The podcast Simply Bitcoin.
I don't think so. Is that's that?
Okay.
What's that guy's name?
Nick and let's
Didn't they
see.
boot him off Twitter and he went to Noster?
I'm not sure.
The same guy? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I
But
can't say
Simply,
for sure if he is with them or without, but
yeah, they
he
have
might
a
have gotten
they do
back.
a a live stream. Like they have like a panel and a booth at the Bitcoin conference,
Well,
the
they're
Bitcoin
very
magazine
good at
conference.
obscuring, like they have really, maximalists like Svetsky was working for him, Alexander Svetsky.
What, Bitcoin magazine?
Yeah, I don't think he works for him anymore, but they have history of a lot of really good Bitcoiners,
Sure.
but it's the whole Vitalik basically he was in the early days of Bitcoin and then they didn't like I think some of his proposals for Bitcoin and he got all butthurt and started Ethereum. That
Hmm.
was the mother butthole that every trash coin has came from. So
Hmm.
Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin, that is where trash coins kind of like got their start, and he is very much a part of this company and
I didn't
behind.
know that. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Vladik is everywhere, huh?
yeah,
Yeah,
he's a
I didn't
he's
know that.
great.
Um, yeah, so like I didn't even have a chance to read this post here. Um, so I can't even, discuss it. Um, but I guess it's not that negative. I'm just looking here. I mean, I see BlackRock expanding a global Bitcoin spot ETF in Australia, right? So I don't know if it's all negative, but when I glanced at this, it seemed pretty spooky.
Yeah, yeah. I don't the message it can be from a bad source and it still holds water if the message is right. So I don't.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm not saying it's uh, bad all around. I have some of the old school Bitcoin magazines in my garage and my bookshelf.
Hmm.
I was all gung ho, like
Yeah.
Bitcoin magazines, awesome, and started to kind of wake up to what was. You just got to be real careful because in Bitcoin, there's always there's nothing there's no people behind it that are being paid to be behind it. There's no marketing, there's no company.
Yep.
So with every other trash coin, there's people behind it and a company behind it that are making money off of shilling you garbage.
Right.
And it's so convoluted and like conflated. I feel like it's almost a weapon by the powers that be, the governments, governments historically have used deception as their number one tool. And that's what they're going to use moving forward to keep their, fiat currencies in place. They don't want you, aside from Nayib Bukele, they don't want you switching to a hard currency that gives you sovereignty over yourself and your family. That removes the control they have over you to work for them. It's it's not good.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I dropped off for a second.
No, you're all right.
Um, okay, so I have this article, 1.4 billion in crypto positions liquidated as Bitcoin hits its lowest price since June. Bitcoin ETFs also continue to bleed with 186.5 million in outflows on Monday. Today's Tuesday. So I don't think there's much here. Um, and then I also wanted to read this post from Sylvain Sorel on Substack.
He's
He wrote,
good. I like his stuff.
Yeah, he's very active on Substack. He's
Is
we gotta
that
have it
his is that his voice? Because I
now.
hit the play button and sometimes I'll
It,
just listen and read along, or I'll just listen to it.
sure, yeah. I think I might have once. I'm not sure if it's his voice. Um, so he writes, the market needs QE even before QT ends. And that was kind of like what my post was about. The US is issuing so much debt that the system lacks the cash to absorb it all. He gets into the repo rate and
Oh, he's talking about SOFR right there. That's
he's talking about SOFR.
what does
Yeah,
SOFR stand
the
for?
very short-term repo rate.
Do you know what SOFR? I know it's the
Very
LIBOR.
short-term yeah, it- it's it's a short-term repo rate, I think is what it stands for.
Well, no, the
Um,
acronym I was wondering.
yeah. Secured overnight financing rate.
Okay.
Um,
We were just talking about this on Bitcoin Veterans this morning. It was their
yeah,
300th episode. And
yeah,
this guy came on, Robert Infra, who's like crazy knowledgeable about all this stuff. He's way over my head most of the time. And he was basically saying there's cracks in the foundation. Like there's signs of panic, basically, because the SOFR rate, which is supposed to be going down, has been staying above its like threshold, and it's not going down. It just has been staying above like 4%, or it was 4 point something percent. And he's saying they just cut by 25 basis points, and the SOFR rate just stayed there.
sure.
And he's like, "There's something going on, and it's not
Yeah,
good." And the Fed's
yeah,
worried about it.
yeah. The thing I think I've learned about the central banks, the U.S. Treasury, is that like we're always on the brink of something breaking. You know, like we're always like very, very, very close to something breaking. That's what kind of attracts me to Bitcoin. And
Yep.
nothing's ever breaking in Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Um,
even Besson came out and said, "You know what never shuts down," or something to this effect. He said,
yeah,
"Bitcoin didn't shut down. It never shuts down. Hasn't shut down for 17 years."
yeah, I believe he said that 6 months ago.
No, he
Uh,
said it just. Well,
on
he said.
CNBC this morning.
I think he said it recently as a jab at the government shutting down,
Oh, okay.
like tongue in cheek type thing.
Yeah. When the cash runs out, the Fed has to reopen the tap. In other words, the Fed is losing control of its balance sheet. It will have to inject liquidity, disguise QE to avoid a freeze. And guess who benefits from that? We know that already. If Powell announces any measures to address the problem, that's another story. A pre-QE would be the news of the year. Um,
So they stopped quantitative tightening, which is a form of easing. See, they basically use all these words that are you have to like break out your dictionary of finance words to figure out what it all means for the layperson. And you and I mean, we're a little bit nerdy into this stuff, so we kind of get it, but you know, stopping the quantitative tightening is a form of easing without saying we're easing, because easing would make it seem like there's something wrong.
yeah, yeah.
It's
And
pretty messy.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I think in 2009, 19, Yellen, she was engineering something like this as well. And yeah,
Hmm.
they didn't call it QE, but it was QE.
Yeah, and that
Um,
that was the last time when there was big time cracks in the foundation again, and they were,
yeah,
you know, most people had no idea what was going on.
sure.
But there
Yeah,
were things falling apart, and
yeah,
give them credit, they fixed it, and here
yeah,
we are now,
yeah. It doesn't,
7 years later, 6 years later.
yeah. Some writers I follow that just focus on like Fed speak or central banks. Like that's all they write about. They argue that this, I don't agree this is QE, but you and I know this as a form of QE, no matter what name they create for it. It's going to result in the same thing. Um, I want another Sylvain Sorel post. France pushes unrealized gains tax on Bitcoin. Now, this hasn't been like passed, but it looks like they are voting on advancing this eventually. And same thing. It's like, some kind of socialist type of reform where they want to tax you on unrealized gains. You know, I, I think they include jewelry, art, yachts, property, and other luxury items on the list. So it's not just Bitcoin. Um, and the reform, still subject to review, would apply a flat 1% annual rate, even if the assets aren't sold. If you're in self-custody, I don't know how the government can find that information,
They're
right?
expecting you to be an honest engine because they want you to, self-proclaim that you have possession of this pseudonymously anonymous, piece of hard currency that they can't really figure out a way to stop. So now they're going to try and dissuade you from using it or, you know, having it. But these people in these places of power are just disgusting. Like whoever
Yeah,
is in the top, and it goes for all these governments. They think of us as we're their chattel, and we're human batteries, and we're here to make them money. They got it,
yeah,
their daddies.
yeah. I guess we'll know next time we talk who won the mayor election in New York. But this is like something that he would be like happy about,
Oh
Mandami.
yeah, yeah, because we haven't tried communism really.
Right.
That old trope. Like, yeah. You know why it doesn't work? It's because humans are fallible. There's not a bunch of benevolent, altruistic humans that are in government, first of all, because,
Yeah.
you know, they would run from government if they were
Yeah.
benevolent, altruistic.
Yeah. But I think this is like as a Bitcoin long-term buy and hodler, something like this is my biggest fear. I don't know how you feel about it. And it's also a motivation to take self-custody.
Yes, that I agree with the self-custody part.
Scare you as
It
much
doesn't
here in the
make me
US.
afraid at all because to me it's actually a good thing because it shows the level of criminality or how messed up these people are in the head that are running the show, and it starts to break that divide. Like there's a book called The Sovereign Individual, and it predicts a lot of the stuff that's been going on in the last 5, 10 years. It was written in 1999, but it talks about the cryptography, and it kind of predicts like Bitcoin, it predicts the COVID thing. And you gotta, it's not exactly, it doesn't say we're gonna have COVID-19 and this, but it's kind of like nation states lose their power is what the thesis is, and they lose it because they're overstepping. People are able to move around the world and choose which government treats them the best, and that's where they go live because it becomes like you can take like with Bitcoin now, you can sell everything you have, put it in 12 words, and don't tell anyone you have it, and get the hell out of Dodge and go to Mozambique or Bhutan or anywhere in the world and then start your new life.
Yeah.
And no one can say anything about it. And that's basically when more and more people realize that and are tyrannized by their country, they're going to choose the best country to live in. Right now, US is still one of the best countries to live in, arguably. Not in my situation, but in most situations, people are freer than most countries in America or in the
Hmm.
US. And
Yeah,
let's it stays like that for a long time, but that can
yeah.
change on
Yeah, some
time.
would yeah, some argue, because I kind of live in this Bitcoin bubble that, but a lot of Bitcoiners argue that, Trump won thanks to the Bitcoin lobbyists, the people that own the asset. So that's the good thing about living in a republic. I'm not going to call it a democracy, is that you get to, if you're unhappy and something like this occurs, you can vote them out, hopefully.
Constitutional republic. Yeah,
All right.
exactly. It's tough if you live in France. I don't know what last time they had a revolution, there were heads rolled. They were chopping heads off, and
Mhm.
it was a rough one. Their
Another
revolution was brutal.
Another Sylvain Sorel article, which is a paid. I don't pay yet, and so, but there's nothing. Let's see. This says, beyond the noise, Bitcoin is not a get rich quick scheme. It's a survival tool. So when Bitcoin is selling off, I like to remind my friends that are crying about it that it's somewhere in the world that this is actually a survival tool. It's not a get rich quick scheme. And I thought that I'm not going to read this except for this point. Ask people of Argentina where inflation routinely crosses 100% per year and now is soaring past 270%. Imagine going to work all month saving, only to watch your savings melt like ice on a hot pavement. The peso is a promise broken daily by its issuer. Argentines don't speculate on Bitcoin, they flee to it as survival. They trade their rapidly dissolving pesos for a mathematically verifiable scarce asset as a desperate act of self-preservation. For them, Bitcoin isn't volatile. Their lives are volatile, but Bitcoin is the anchor. Thought that was good, kind of a reminder when Bitcoin's
Yeah.
selling off, in US dollar terms.
Well, think of Venezuela.
Yeah.
When they have the Bolivar,
Hmm.
you know, the Bolivars went to zero and worthless, I think, twice in our lifetime.
Yeah.
So if you're living in Venezuela, why wouldn't you keep your money in Bitcoin? It's just because
Yeah.
you haven't heard about it, you're not familiar with it. But as soon as they realize, all the Argentinians, all the Venezuelans, as soon as they do even the most basic of logical reasoning in their head about money, they're not going to put their money in these currencies. They're going to put it in Bitcoin.
Hmm.
And these are just
Yeah.
people that are going to figure it out over time. Who knows how quickly, but the US got to be careful going around bombing people and whatever they're going to do over there. Hopefully they don't do a land invasion, but you go to war with um, Venezuela
Venezuela.
or you mess with Brazil, and all of a sudden the dollar starts to look worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
Bitcoin is going to be that shiny, bright orange sun in the sky.
Yeah. Same with Turkey. Even Russia has like crazy high inflation, I saw. Uh,
Lebanon,
Lebanon.
they went to zero. That's Saifedean, he saved a lot of people a lot of money when he was
Also, I don't
talking.
think like Venezuela is going to have access to like stable coins as easy as people think. I think it's probably easier for them to, self-custody Bitcoin.
Well, the stable coin's a great topic because I truly believe the stable coin is a beautiful thing for Bitcoin because the more people learn about stable coins, it's like a bridge to get onto Bitcoin. They're like, oh, we can use this and be a part of the dollar. Well, then when they see
Yes.
the dollar losing out to Bitcoin as value, why would they stick with a stably debased currency at 2 to 4% when they can have a hard currency that's anti-deflationary. Jeff,
Yeah,
his The Price of Tomorrow talks about all the deflation.
yeah,
It makes no sense to stay in a inflationary currency.
yeah. Every time you see US stablecoin adoption rise, Bitcoin normally follows it probably. And I guess except for now, but it's like a digital highway to Bitcoin.
Yeah. A good way
Yeah.
to really feel good about Bitcoin dips is to realize all of your friends and family members and anyone who has any money in fiat is getting a little bit more purchasing power. Because I
Hmm.
see the world through the Bitcoin lens. So now it's like, oh, well, that's good. Now you could like take some of your fiat that's melting ice cube. It just had a nice little bump up in value. You can convert it at a better rate. So
Yeah,
it's a good way to feel positive about Bitcoin going down because it's going to go up and down until it doesn't. And when it goes up
sure.
every single day, incrementally, most of everyone has missed it.
Yeah,
That's the time where it's not hyper Bitcoinization, but it's not hyperinflation. It's just, hit full stride. It's at the tipping point where people are learning about it and more people are learning about it quicker and quicker and everyone's talking about it and it just keeps going up.
yep. Luke Groman, reminder that Bitcoin is simply one of the last functioning smoke alarms of liquidity. What Bitcoin has done since October 6th is simply warning that another uh, third quarter 2022, first quarter 2023, I'm guessing that's what this is, third quarter 23 has begun. That's when the dollar goes up, stocks go down, bonds go down until more liquidity comes out of UST market dysfunctions again. And I
I
think
love the
that,
meme.
yeah, I think that shows here the dollar is, this is not it. Let's look at the Dixie, right? I
Yep,
mean, I don't really, you know, look at the dollar index because I think it's not very helpful,
yeah,
I think it's a one really small piece to the puzzle, but he is right. I mean, we're kind of at the highs here from August.
yep,
Um, and obviously the 10-year is above 4%, I'm guessing. Yeah, we're at 4.09, so we kind of had a bounce here on the 10-year. So yeah, maybe it's a truth machine. Like I think that's his point of his post. Don't you think that's what he's saying?
yeah, yeah. That makes sense. I do. That comes from Mallers. I keep saying Mahler.
Mallers has been saying it. Mallers and Luke
The
Roman both
truth
say it
machine.
simultaneously. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's very true. The truth machine rocks or just keeps moving on, and I feel like there's some kind of you know, the reason this dip in Bitcoin price is there's some underlying reason that hasn't surfaced yet.
Yeah.
Because no, none of us plebs or anyone who's buying under 100 to 1,000, under 1,000 Bitcoins is touching this market. 9 billion, I think, got sold
Sold
and
6 days or
ate it
something.
up. It just the market ate it up. Like it didn't
Yeah.
drop precipitously.
Yeah, you have such incredible inflows that a 9 billion OG selling really didn't move the market at all. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That brings us to the next subject, which is this one. And I guess this is the chart everyone is floating around. Too bad that I don't mean to share what everyone's sharing, you know?
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring it up because God, this has only 1.1 likes, so maybe he wasn't the main guy that shared this, but this is everywhere I look. I see this picture. Um, and long-term holders have offloaded 405,000 Bitcoins in the past 30 days, but that was as of November 2nd. So they must still be offloading, we should assume, huh?
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. I
It
haven't
really
even.
doesn't matter. Like, who cares that OGs are selling to, do whatever they want to do? I mean, it doesn't matter to me. Good for them. But this is obviously probably the main reason it's selling off here.
Yeah. Yeah, it could have a large effect. What boggles my mind is how these big time holders of Bitcoin, they sell all their Bitcoin on the OTC. So like when Sailor buys his big tranche of Bitcoin,
Hmm.
it doesn't move the market up because it's all under the table.
Hmm.
And that's just telling. Like there's going to be a point where, you know, there's going to be a point where the people of the world eventually realize what's going on. We're not near
Hmm.
to this point. We're so early. Nobody
Yeah.
realizes how early we are, but there's going to be a point where it's impossible to keep the price from moving upward because if it
Yeah.
was moving down, there would be such an inflow of people trying to buy it all over the world that there'd be like it's like a run on the banks. It's really like an inverse short squeeze
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
a short squeeze, better
Yeah,
put.
it has the same function of the result will look like a short squeeze, but it's really just a supply shock.
Right.
There won't be technically a short squeeze, I don't think, because the short interest is so low on Bitcoin.
Well,
Um,
the exchanges like Coinbase, I don't know how many times you've seen the price like going up parabolically, but
mhm.
Coinbase goes down magically all the time when this happens, which is our largest exchange in the US. So every
Yeah.
time we have like that short squeeze,
Hmm.
they flip the circuit breaker, and that
Hmm.
circuit breaker will not be available forever. When people realize
Yeah.
Base is a trash coin casino,
Hmm.
Binance is a trash. Did you see the whole Binance thing?
Hmm.
Paid off Trump or paid
Cheesy?
the Trump uh, children of Trump or whatever, and he got a pardon. Trump was on 16 Minutes, and he's like, I don't even know the guy. That's the greatest. I love it.
Yeah.
It's truly a clown world when you see this type of stuff go on, and it just goes to show you these exchanges. These people are always going to make as much money as they can.
Sure.
I mean, why wouldn't they?
Sure.
But in reality, it's self custody. Stack your sats and enjoy your life. Use
Yeah.
money as a tool, and you don't have to get rich overnight. Bitcoin is not a get rich quick scheme, and that's why everybody who thinks it is and is trading it to the long side or the short side is going to get wrecked.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I had somebody say, "Hey, I think Trump's benefiting on Bitcoin going up, so it's going to go up, and I want to be here for the next 3 years while Trump's in." It's like, that's not. You need to do a little more research on Bitcoin. That's not the point. Um, Not to be redundant, because I live in this Bitcoin bubble, so I've seen this chart about 50,000 times in the last 2 days. And, I think my point here is that Bitcoin never, when people were saying, like, oh, yeah, like the M2 money supply is what Bitcoin does. Bitcoin follows it by, a delayed 3 months. I never believed in that. If it were that easy, everybody would know where Bitcoin's going to go. That's not how life works. And my point is, it's just not that easy. Like it's not just one thing, like the M2 money supply. And if anything, this is probably bullish, because it means we're going to probably fill a gap eventually. So I think there's some truth to it for sure.
Yeah.
But the point is that there's more sellers than buyers right now. That's really,
Mhm.
so it doesn't matter what the M2 money supply is doing.
Well, what's fascinating to me, like we kind of have a vague idea of how much gold there is.
Yeah.
But when it comes to amount of dollars in circulation in the world, nobody
This is
really.
just this is just an estimate.
We have no idea how many trillions, because it is trillions, could be quadrillions for all we know. But there is so much dollar just just ridiculous, like numbers we can't fathom in our head because they don't even make sense.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that they can make infinitely more of it. It reminds me of trash coins like Ethereum, Solana, Cardano. They can just keep making them. What
Right.
gives them value if you can just keep making them? That's the whole point of
And
Bitcoin.
even if they
21
don't,
million.
and even if they don't make more, the whole point is that they could.
Yeah. How many Vietnamese dong can they make?
Hmm.
Every dollar is worth how many Vietnamese dong or Argentinian pesos. You can't even get as many satoshis for a dollar as you can for either of those two currencies. And yet they use them in those countries.
Hmm.
Argent Argentina has, I think you can get 1,400 or so pesos per dollar. You can only get 900 or right around 900 to 1,000 satoshis
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
Oh, my son's home.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got anyway for the
All right,
tabs.
man.
All right.
All right. Well, I'll catch you next week then.
Next week for sure. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for
Take care,
coming on.
man.
All right. Bye.